Welcome back to my channel at The Movie Optimist, where I find the silver lining in even the worst of films. Tonight, I just got done watching the newest film, Riff Raff. This movie stars Ed Harris, Jennifer Coolidge, Pete Davidson, Bill Murray, Lewis Pullman, Gabrielle Union, and the list goes on and on. There's a bunch of recognizable actors and actresses in this film. Essentially, in this film, Ed Harris takes his family up to a vacation house that they own in the middle of nowhere to celebrate New Year's Eve, but after being there for a couple days, Ed Harris's estranged son, played by Lewis Pullman, shows up saying that he needs help. Turns out he pissed off some hitmen played by Bill Murray and Pete Davidson back in his hometown, and he needs his dad's help disappearing along with his pregnant Italian wife. And even though they're estranged, Ed Harris feels that he needs to help his son. It's the right thing to do as his father, so he tells him to lay low there while he could figure out a plan to get him some money. However, before he's able to do that, Bill Murray and Pete Davidson wind up figuring out where they are and going to the house, and it becomes a game of cat and mouse while they try and figure out how to survive the night against these two hitmen. That's essentially the plot of the story. I don't want to spoil too much because there are a lot of plot twists in this and twists and turns, and you are trying to figure out what's going on along with the actors, so I'll just leave the story there. That being said, what did I think about this movie? Well, I'll say this. If this movie was made 30 years ago, it would have been a huge box office triumph. It would have been a very popular film. It was definitely a movie that feels like it would have been more suited for the days where like a Pulp Fiction would have came out, like during that era where it's like a mystery thriller with a lot of violence. Whereas in today, I didn't even know this movie was coming out until like a week ago. And the only reason I knew it was coming out was because I'm subscribed to like 10 different YouTube channels that are solely dedicated to releasing movie trailers. I have not once seen this movie trailer played before other movies in the movie theater. I only knew about it because one day at work I was bored. I decided to pull up RottenTomatoTrailers.com, and lo and behold, I saw this trailer pop up and I was like, wow, that looks good. I can't believe it doesn't have more publicity behind it. But I'm really glad that I went to see it because this movie felt like a time capsule into the past where you don't see movies like this anymore. It's a very small film. It's really told in one location at this vacation house in the middle of nowhere. It's a very small cast. There's only like 10 people in it, and it relies on really compelling storytelling. Now, for the most part, we as the audience know all the secrets that everybody else doesn't know. We know why Lewis Pullman got into some deep shit with these hitmen. It's really about Ed Harris trying to figure out what his estranged son did while trying to hide it from his new family, played by Gabrielle Union and her son, who he pretty much adopted. He's trying to hide the fact that his son's in trouble so that everybody doesn't get all worried that there are hitmen trying to get him. But we know all the secrets. We know everything that's going on. We're aware of the hitmen getting increasingly closer to figuring out where the house is. So it's not so much we as an audience are trying to piece everything together. The director and the writer lay it all out for us. The fun in this movie is watching the family figure it out and try and piece everything together. And we're kind of one step ahead of everybody. And even though you know all the pieces on the chessboard, you still don't know where it's going to end. And that's where the most fun comes in this movie, is trying to figure out who's going to make it out alive, who isn't, who's going to get the upper hand, who's trained in this, who's trained in that. Why is Jennifer Coolidge there? Who does she play in this role? What is her past with Ed Harris's character? They do leave little things that are a mystery for us to kind of discover along the way while watching this movie, and I had a really good time watching it. All the performances across the board were amazing. I mean, Ed Harris is always incredible. He is a fantastic actor that's been just delivering bangers after bangers for the last 30 fucking years. Lewis Pullman is on the rise. I didn't really see him in that much up until that Salem's Lot reboot, and I am in the minority of people that actually really enjoyed that film, but I am so excited to see him in Thunderbolts as the Sentry, especially after seeing him in Top Gun Maverick. He's just killed it in everything he's in, and that's equally as impressive because he hasn't been in that much, but he just kind of showed up on the scene firing on all cylinders, and he was great here as this young guy that's kind of just in way over his head. Even though he was trying to do the right thing, wound up pissing off the wrong people, and you could see that he genuinely loves his wife. Gabrielle Union plays Ed Harris's new wife, and she is equally as amazing here. She has this like banter with Jennifer Coolidge's character, who is Ed Harris's ex-wife, where they clearly hate each other, and they kind of bounce off of each other the whole time, where you know they hate each other, and they're making these like little remarks towards each other, and it's one of like the comic reliefs of the film anytime they're like bickering off of each other, and I thought that they were really good, especially Jennifer Coolidge. I'm not a Jennifer Coolidge fan. I've seen her as Stifler's mom in the American Pie movies. I always just thought like, yeah, she's the dumb, hot, blonde mom that all of the young guys like are attracted to. And I never really thought her career was going to go anywhere after that. And I didn't really see her career go anywhere after that. And then she had popped up in the White Lotus TV show on HBO. And I don't watch White Lotus, but I have a couple friends that do, that all say that she's really good in that, and whatever, that's great. So when I saw that she was in this movie, I was like, oh, like, what is she going to play? And then once the movie started, I saw that she was kind of playing that same character, like like the dumb, hot, blonde mom, but they gave her a lot more layers here, whereas she's not just like the dumb, blonde mom. She's also like at the point in her life where she realizes that she's been chasing her high school years her whole life, whereas she still wants that excitement of feeling that new fling, that new love, that new person that wants to have sex with her, and it's kind of like really sad, and she has a little bit of dramatic chops in this film, and I was really impressed with her. Yes, she is just playing a more dramatic version of the character she plays in pretty much everything, but I've never seen her do that before, so seeing her dig her teeth into some drama was really refreshing for a change in her character. Bill Murray and Pete Davidson are the hitmen here, and Bill Murray pretty much plays the same person he's played in the last 15 roles he's been in. Just like the end of his life, just over this shit, doesn't have like a filter anymore. He just wants to get the job done. He's pissed off. He just plays like the cranky old man. But Pete Davidson really surprised me here, because usually when I see Pete Davidson in a movie, he's kind of playing the same person that he was in SNL, just like this cocky, F-bomb dropping, sarcastic asshole. But here he plays like a slower, really self-conscious hitman that needs constant reassurance that he's doing the right thing. He just wants to impress Bill Murray. He does have a lot of comedic moments in this film, but it's not because he's trying to be the Pete Davidson that he is on SNL or any of his other movies. It's genuinely because of the performance and the script that's given to him, and he plays a wildly different character than I've ever seen him in, and I thought he was really fun to watch here. Everyone's performance just knocked it out of the park. You can clearly see that everyone loved being here and being in this movie, and they all had a blast making it, and I had a blast watching it. It was really fun. I really enjoyed the whole cat and mouse aspect of it. I really enjoyed watching Ed Harris try to figure out how to help his son, who is in way over his head with some very deadly people. And I enjoyed where it ended. I thought that like the climax of it all, like the showdown that they finally have in the house, was really entertaining. It was thrilling. It was well earned. The only problem, honestly, that I have with this movie is the last 5 minutes. Something happens, there's like a big, climactic battle towards the end, and some people get shot, some people live, some people die, and it wraps up in the final 3 minutes in a way that I'm like, that doesn't make sense to what just happened. Like, this person clearly did this to this person because they do not like them, and now in the last 2 minutes you see them kind of just sitting at like a dinner table talking, and I'm like, I thought they hated each other, and you just try to do this to this person, and it's like, what is going on here? Like, it doesn't make sense that it kind of gets this nice bow put on it with the remainder people that are still alive towards the end of this film, and I was just left scratching my head. Like, I feel like they were missing something. Like, they were missing like a 5-minute gap of footage that explained why out of nowhere everyone just stopped hating everybody. Everyone just stopped hating the people that they previously hated 5 minutes ago, and like the credits rolled and I was just left scratching my head. But that being said, the entirety of the rest of the movie, the 95% of it, was a wildly good time, and we need more movies like this in a market that's oversaturated with superhero stuff and action movies and blockbusters and the swashbuckling adventures. And don't get me wrong, I love swashbuckling adventures, I love superhero movies, but sometimes you need a break in between them to see something new, something more refreshing. And although you've seen something like this before, you haven't seen it in a long time, and it was really fun getting back to like this basic one location, kind of like a Reservoir Dogs, where it's all taking place in the house, and it's just relying on good, intriguing story that's making you second guess everything, and really great writing that's really smartly written and keeping you on the edge of your seat. I'm gonna give this movie a 9 out of 10. It really is a shame that I'm like the only person of all of Long Island that knows this movie exists. If you're watching this review, I truly hope I gave you a reason to go out and support this movie, because you don't get things like this often. Movies like this, they fall behind the wayside. It's gonna be out for like a week. They're gonna pull it from theaters because no one's going to see it, and that's just gonna tell movie studios like, hey, the public doesn't care about stuff like this, so stop making it. And we really need stuff like this to balance the scales. If it's always superhero movies and always blockbusters, eventually they're just gonna stop making these smaller indie crime thrillers altogether. So I really think we need to show up and support stuff like this. Anyway, guys, let me know what you think in the comments down below. Did I give you a reason to go and see it this weekend? I truly hope I do. And if I have, please let's talk about it in the comments down below. If you go and see it, please comment below and let me know what you thought. I would love to have a conversation with you about it. And as always, guys, I hope you have a great rest of your week, and I'll catch you next time.